Hi, everybody. My name is Josh, and we are here today to talk about cover letters. So, before we get into how to write a cover letter, we want to kind of talk about what is a cover letter really quick. And it's actually twofold. So, you want to showcase to somebody why you're a good fit for their company, both skill wise, you can do the job, but also personality wise, like you as a person. A lot of times, when people write cover letters, they forget to put that human quality into it, and it sounds like a robot, or it sounds like you wouldn't actually say this kind of stuff. The other thing you want to consider as well is how you format the cover letter. So you could have this really well written cover letter, but if it's like big and huge or small and squishy, people aren't going to be able to jump into it as much as you would like. So pay attention to how it looks as well as what it says, which is very important. And hopefully, those two means down there are not you, but if they are, it's okay because that's a lot of people as well. So now we're going to talk about the content of a cover letter, and I do want to say this isn't the only way to write a cover letter. There's a lot of ways to do it, but this is one that is it's pretty straightforward and easy to do and helps you organize your thoughts a little bit quicker. So what I normally encourage you guys to do is think about your cover letter in three simple paragraphs, and you can assign like a bullet word to each one. So paragraph one, why? Why are you reaching out to them? Why do you want this job? Stuff like that. Paragraph two is the what paragraph. What makes you a good fit for this position? And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then the conclusion paragraph. So just like any paper you've ever written in your life, we have the summary, we follow up at the end, that kind of stuff. And we'll kind of go into these a little bit more in depth starting right now. So for paragraph one, we always want to introduce ourselves. One of the most important things about a cover letter is you want this to sound custom. You don't want it to be very templatey. And one way to make it sound custom is you introduce yourself. So tell me who you are, tell me what you do, and where you're located at. Those are three really important things. Especially because sometimes they might ask for local candidates only. You could be a local candidate, but if you forget to tell them that you live in the Bay Area or somewhere where the job is, then they might go with somebody else because they don't offer relocation. So easy way to introduce yourself. My name is Josh Smothers. I am a San Francisco-based graphic designer. Poof, right there. And we don't want to do that thing down in the corner because that looks like a ransom note and it's very impersonal. The next thing to make this more customized and tailored is mention the name of the company and the job you're applying to. So you could apply for a company that has like 50 job openings and you forget to tell them which one it is. They're not going to know which one to consider you for. So if you mention like junior animator or whatever it is, then they might have a specific hiring person for that and you go right to that person a lot faster. And then also saying the name of the company makes it feel less like a template and more like you wrote this for them, which is what employers want. The next thing, we want to start talking about these whys. Like, why are you interested in this position? Why do you want to work at this company? Why do you do what you do? Try to talk about things that they've done that you really like to showcase why you're interested in the position. This doesn't have to mean that you're writing like a dissertation or anything. Just write a couple sentences about why you're interested in this specific role with this specific company. And then this last part is if you do have any references, like a friend or a colleague or a teacher or anybody like that who works at the company that said you'd be a good fit, you can list them as like so-and-so said I would be a good person for this position. And always ask their permission before you do that, though. You don't want to just like kind of surprise them. The second paragraph is what. So again, what makes you a good fit for this position? And the easiest thing we're going to do is you have a dynamite resume that you've been working on. We're going to take that resume, their job description, and we basically just line them up. We look for specific keywords that they want to hear about, things like software and skills, and then we want to showcase relevant experience. So, only things that you feel are going to help you get this job. So like if the coolest, best thing you've done in your life has no connection to this job, don't talk about it. Let's talk about stuff that will help you get the job. Try to focus on what you can do to help the company. So, obviously you're not going to step in and, change everything unless that's what they're asking for, but maybe the software, maybe these processes, and talk about how you can do that and be a positive asset right away. And the last thing that we always want to do is give them good tangible examples. So don't just talk about things in like a hypothetical. The idea is when you apply for stuff, everything supports itself along the way. So whatever we talk about on our cover letter should be on our resume and then also should be in our portfolio. So that way they can take a look at that across the board all the way. So always give them good examples of things that are connected to this job. And then whatever you do, we don't want to do what the most interesting man in the world tells us to do here. So you never want to embellish, overstate any kind of skills or experience or anything like that, because it's going to come back to you at some point, and often not in a good case. So don't say stuff like, I have 7 years of experience, or I'm proficient, or I'm professional, I'm the best at this, or anything. Just say you can do stuff. The point where they're going to say, like, hey, we saw in your resume and on your cover letter that you can do this. Can you talk to us about it? That's going to be in the interview. So just for your cover letter and your resume, just say you can do things. Don't put qualifiers, don't put years behind, and just keep it really simple and just talk about things in a story context. So our third paragraph and our final paragraph here is the conclusion paragraph. And this is just like any paragraph you've ever written in your life for any paper. You're going to summarize your experience and the role, mention the name of the company and the position again, so that way it feels more customized. Tell them that your resume is attached, and we always want it to be PDF. Don't send them like working files or anything like that. PDFs, we want to send them because they open on any computer anywhere, and it's going to look exactly how you want it to be. And then you want to give them the clearest, most professional contact information as well. So that's going to be your phone number, your email, and then also especially your portfolio link. Make sure all three of those are working. If it's for email, like try to make sure, like if you're applying for an internship, you're using your CCA one or a .edu. If it's a job, try to use like a Gmail or a professional one, like josh@josh.com or something like that. And then always make sure your portfolio link is working. You never want people to have to Google you or try to like find you, because you might not be the person that comes up. And then we're going to put that follow-up that we talked about way in the beginning. It's called a call to action. And the point of it is just, you wrote a really well cover letter, and then you want them to reach out to you. So it's something like, I look forward to speaking to you further about this opportunity. I look forward to connecting with you more, something like that. It puts the emphasis on them to reach out to you. And then lastly, most simply, just thank them, because they don't have to read your cover letter. It's a little thing, and people do notice the little things when you're applying. But wait, there's more. Here are some tips and notes that will help you along the way as well. So as I have been saying in and out of this, you have to customize each and every one of these. You can't have a template and just like change things in and out. You can apply to a lot of jobs at one company if you want, but job A and job B don't ask for the same thing. So we have to have a different cover letter for each one. And in terms of how much changes, it's about 85%. Most of it is going to be, the whys and the whats and stuff like that, because we want this to sound as specific and tailored to these people as possible. Be mindful of how you say things. So what this means is we don't want to, come across as somebody who's throwing people under the bus, because, they'll be like, well, if they're saying this about this company and they don't even work there anymore, what are they going to say about us when they don't work here anymore? And then the other thing is, we don't want to sound like super kind of conceited and, talk about how awesome you are all the time or anything like that. So just try to like play it down the middle. And even if it was something that was not a good experience, just think about some of the positives you got out of it. Maybe you got better at a software experience or something like that. And then the next thing we want to consider, and this is something everybody struggles with in the beginning, is we want to focus in on we, us, and team language instead of I, me, and my. So when you see a job description, they'll ask you to, we want a skill of somebody who's a team player. Like, how do we be a team player? The fastest way not to do that is if all of your sentences say, I can do this, I know how to do this, my experience is this, my background is this, me, things like that. You want to try to keep things in a team context, because you're going to be working with others. Even if like you're a photographer and you do a lot of stuff by yourself, you still might work with somebody who does like art direction. You might work with like graphic designer who puts it in there or something like that, or even clients. So try to think about like the we aspect of stuff. Make that the primary, and then you're the secondary character in the story. But at the same time, there are times you have to say I, me, or my. Like, how else do you introduce yourself without saying my name is Josh? Things like that. But if you want to keep an eye on it, one way you can do it is just have somebody look over your cover letter and like zoom out. Like all of your paragraphs start out with an I, me, or my. We have a lot of sentences in a row that start out with I, me, or my. Or are there just a lot of them in general? Like if there's like 35 of them in there, it's probably too much. We should probably scale that back down. And then we always want to write in basic paragraph form. So we don't want to have like a monster paragraph, but we don't want to have like one or two stray sentences or anything like that. And then your cover letter is always one page, one side, just like your resume. It can be 3 or 4 paragraphs at the most. Where it becomes 4 when we've been talking about 3 is in that what paragraph. Like sometimes they're going to ask you to write about a lot of stuff. You don't have to write about a lot of things, but if there is a lot of stuff, it's better to give them like 2 regular paragraphs instead of one of those gigantic paragraphs. And then as our friend from Lord of the Rings, who dies in everything that he's ever in, says, you're going to have to write a few drafts to get a right cover letter. You can't write one in 15 minutes. You can go clickety-clickety-click on your keyboard and it will exist. It's probably not going to be that good though. You're going to have somebody else double check it. It can be mom and dad, your friends, your roommates, a teacher. It could be us in career development, but always have somebody else double check it. And then when you do, be sure to send over the job description or the internship description, because anybody who reads it can say, this makes sense. But if you send the description, people can say, you know what, we're talking about this, not talking about this, and I don't know why this part is in here, and make it a little bit stronger. And then going way back to the beginning, we have our spot that says, write in a voice that's reflective of how you would speak. So this is the personality part. So however you are as a person, you want to convey that a little bit more professional in tone, but don't say super professional, long-sounding words you wouldn't normally say. Give people an idea about you, because they're going to be working with you for 8 hours a day, either virtually or in person, and they want to get a sense of you. So whatever your personality is, just try to mirror that, because the worst thing that can happen is you write a cover letter that maybe it sounds super fun, and then they interview you and you sound really stoic, and they're going to be like, is this the same person who wrote this? So just convey, like if you're fun, make it sound fun and professional, but if you're kind of serious, make it sound serious and professional, so that we get an accurate idea of you. And then the last thing that I will say is when you write cover letters, people think you have to talk about how awesome you are. And in a sense, you are. But what you're doing is they're giving you a job description and they're telling you exactly what they want to hear. So your job inside of a cover letter is to filter all of your awesomeness and the stuff that will help you get a job into that job description. So if the coolest, best thing you've ever done has no connection to this job, save it for later. Maybe that could be like an interesting story in the interview or something like that. But let's focus in on stuff that's going to help you get the job. And in a teeny tiny nutshell, that is how you write a cover letter. Again, this is not the only way to write a cover letter. It's one of the easier ways to do it though. But if you do have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us and we will be here to help you guys. Hope this was helpful.